How is it possible to earn $250,000 a year and still end up totally bankrupt? A family in New Jersey just did exactly that, without gambling, failed businesses, or a single medical bill. Statistics show 74% of Americans live with deep financial regret, and the number one mistake is not saving for retirement soon enough. You aren't irresponsible, you are simply trapped by high-interest mortgages and car payments that look like success but function as debt. In this video, I am revealing the 10 specific financial traps that are draining your bank account right now and the exact steps you need to take to break free. We are cutting the talk and looking at the cold, hard math. What is the number one financial burden keeping you awake at night? Drop your age and your biggest struggle in the comments below. Point 1. The mortgage prison. The most dangerous trap in the world is a pre-approval letter from a bank. You walk into a lender and they tell you that based on your income you can afford an $800,000 home. You feel a surge of status. You feel validated. But you must understand that the bank is not your friend. They are a debt merchant. Their definition of affordable is the absolute maximum amount of interest they can extract from your life without you immediately defaulting. When a bank calculates your debt-to-income ratio, they use a clinical formula that ignores the messy reality of a high-quality life. They do not care if you want to save for your child's education. They do not care if you want to retire at 55. They do not factor in the price of groceries or the necessity of an emergency fund. They calculate what you can survive on, not what you can thrive on. According to the Atlanta Fed, owning a median-priced home now consumes nearly 48% of the median household's income. We have moved into an era where nearly half of your life energy is being traded for a primary residence. The elite builders of wealth do not play this game. They understand that a home is a liability that you live in, not an investment that pays you. While the average person buys at the top of their approval range, the 1% operates on the rule of 70%. If the bank says you can afford $6,000 a month, you target $4,000. That $2,000 delta is your freedom fund. It is the fuel for your brokerage account. A smaller house with a massive investment portfolio is a fortress. A massive house with no cash flow is just a very expensive cage. Point 2. The depreciating anchor. Nothing signals a lack of financial maturity faster than a heavy car payment. The average new car payment in 2026 has surged to $772 a month. Even more terrifying is that 20% of buyers are now committing to payments over $1,000 for 72 or 84 months. You are literally signing away a decade of your wealth-building potential for a machine that loses 10% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Let us look at the brutal math of the car trap. A $750 payment is $9,000 a year. Over a 6-year loan, you will pay $54,000 for a vehicle that will likely be worth $18,000 when the loan ends. You have incinerated $36,000 in depreciation alone. If you had instead purchased a reliable used car and invested that same $750 into an S&P 500 index fund at an 8% return, you would have over $670,000 in 30 years. The system wants you to believe that you deserve the luxury SUV because you got the promotion. This is a lie designed to keep you productive. Every expensive car you buy is a trade. You are trading your future freedom for a temporary hit of dopamine and the approval of people you do not even like. The visionaries drive what works so they can eventually buy what they want without a loan. Point 3. The strategic forecasting error. Childcare is the most intense financial squeeze in the life cycle of a family. The average cost of daycare in the United States is now over $17,000 per year for one infant. In cities like Boston or Seattle, it is closer to $25,000. For families with 2 children, they are looking at nearly $30,000 a year in post-tax income. The trap here is not the children themselves. It is the failure to reverse engineer the cost before making other major commitments. Most people buy the house and the car first and then realize they have no margin left for quality care. This leads to a 5-year period of financial suffocation where you are unable to contribute to your retirement accounts. You must treat the childcare years as a high-intensity financial phase. If you are planning to have kids, you must lower your housing and car expectations today. You cannot afford the same lifestyle as your childless peers. If you ignore this reality, you will reach your mid-40s with a stagnant net worth and a mountain of regret. The 1% plans for the expense years in advance, ensuring that their wealth compounding never stops. Point 4. The lifestyle leak. Lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of high earners. You start your career making $60,000 and you manage to survive. 10 years later, you are making $160,000, but you still feel like you are living paycheck to paycheck. This is because your expenses have expanded to swallow every new dollar of income. This happens through a series of micro upgrades, a better gym membership, a slightly more expensive bottle of wine, a premium phone every 12 months. Individually, these decisions seem insignificant. Collectively, they create a lifestyle that is impossible to maintain if your income ever takes a hit. Research shows that while nominal wages have doubled, real wages for the middle class have only grown by 12% over 2 decades. The system is designed to inflate the cost of your needs as fast as your income grows. The defense against this is the 50% pivot. Every time you get a raise or a bonus, you must commit 50% of that increase to your investments immediately. You can spend the other 50% on improving your quality of life. This ensures that as you live better, you are also building a larger moat. If you do not have a rule for your raises, the market will have a rule for you. Point 5. The normalization of financial bondage. We live in a culture where debt has been sanitized and marketed as a tool. Americans now carry over $18 trillion in consumer debt. Generation X currently holds the highest debt burden in history, with people in their 40s holding $4.8 trillion in total liabilities. Because everyone has a mortgage and a car payment, we have stopped seeing debt as a threat. It has become a background noise in our lives. This is a psychological trap. Debt is the opposite of leverage. It is a weight that prevents you from taking risks or seizing opportunities. The average credit card interest rate is now over 20%. Carrying a balance of $5,000 while making minimum payments is a form of financial suicide. Every dollar you pay in interest to a bank is a dollar you have stolen from your future self. The builders of wealth view debt as a house fire. You do not manage it. You do not live with it. You put it out with everything you have. High-interest debt is not a monthly bill. It is an emergency. Before we dive into the next 5 traps, I want you to look around your professional circle. How many of your colleagues are actually wealthy, and how many are just high-income earners who are drowning in debt to maintain an image? If you are ready to stop performing for others and start building for yourself, comment the phrase "the builder" below right now. Let us see who in this community is truly awake. Point 6. The retirement procrastination trap. The most expensive thing you can buy is a late start. 54% of American households have no dedicated retirement savings. The median balance for those approaching retirement is less than $200,000. This is a mathematical disaster. At a safe withdrawal rate, that amount provides less than $8,000 a year. In your 30s, retirement feels like a distant theoretical concept. You have more pressing needs like weddings and down payments. In your 40s, you realize you are behind, but now you are focused on your children's college funds. The trap is the belief that you can catch up later. By the time you reach 50, the compounding required to reach $1 million is brutal. You would need to save nearly 30% of your income every single month. The elite understand that time is more important than timing. Even if you can only save a small amount, start today. Automate your contributions to your 401k and your Roth IRA. If you wait until you have enough money to save, you will wait until it is too late. The visionaries pay themselves first and live on the rest. Point 7. The asphalt leech. The suburban sprawl trap is a failure to calculate the true cost of your time. Many people move an hour away from the city because they can get a bigger house for less money. They think they are being financially savvy, but they are missing the most critical variable in the equation. A 1-hour commute each way is 10 hours a week. That is 520 hours a year. To put that into perspective, you are spending 21 full days every single year staring at the bumper of the car in front of you. You are losing 3 weeks of your life to asphalt. When you add the cost of fuel insurance, tires, and the depreciation of driving 30,000 miles a year, that cheaper house is often a massive financial drain. Furthermore, the opportunity cost of those 500 hours is staggering. That is time you could have spent building a side business, learning a new skill, or being with your family. The elite do not trade time for a cheaper zip code. They optimize for proximity so they can reclaim those 21 days for wealth building. Point 8. The social mirror. Social comparison is a trap designed to decouple your spending from your goals. As you enter your late 30s and early 40s, the income gaps between you and your peers will widen. Some will strike it rich, some will inherit. Most will just go deep into debt to look rich. When your neighbor buys a new boat or your friend posts about their first-class flight to Europe, it creates a psychological pressure to match their pace. You feel that if you do not participate, you are falling behind, but you are comparing your inside to their outside. You do not know their net worth, you only know their monthly payments. The only relevant metric for your life is whether you are on track for your specific financial goals. If your goal is to be work optional by age 55, every dollar spent trying to impress a neighbor is a dollar that pushes that date further away. The visionaries are comfortable looking average while they are building extraordinary wealth in the dark. Have you ever felt the pressure to say yes to an expensive dinner or a luxury vacation just because you did not want to look like you were struggling in front of your peers? Have you ever sacrificed your financial peace just to maintain a social image? Share your experience in the comments. We are building a community where the truth matters more than the facade. Point 9. The perfect timing trap. Inaction disguised as strategy is one of the biggest leaks in the middle class. You tell yourself you will start investing when the market is lower. You tell yourself you will buy a house when rates drop. You tell yourself you will save when you make more money. This is a trap because the perfect conditions never arrive. When the market drops, you will be too scared of a recession to buy. When rates drop, house prices will surge. When you make more money, your lifestyle will have already inflated. The best time to build wealth was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. The elite do not wait for the stars to align. They understand that time in the market is the only variable they can control. They invest consistently regardless of the news cycle. Starting now with imperfect conditions will always beat waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. Stop waiting for the green lights to all turn at once. Just start driving. Point 10. The high-octane busy trap. The final trap is the most insidious because it feels like work. You are so busy with your career, your commute, and your daily domestic tasks that you never have time to think about your money. You are working hard for your money, but your money is not working for you. Busyness is often a defense mechanism used to avoid the uncomfortable reality of your financial situation. It is easier to answer emails at 10 p.m. than it is to sit down and calculate your actual net worth. You are paying for insurance you do not need. You are in investment funds with high fees. You are leaving money on the table because you are too tired to negotiate your value. The visionaries schedule a quarterly financial audit. They treat their personal finances like a business. They review every subscription, every interest rate, and every investment allocation. 1 hour of strategic financial planning is worth more than 40 hours of labor. If you are too busy to manage your wealth, you will never have enough wealth to stop being busy. The 10 traps we have dissected today are the structural pillars of the modern economy. They are designed to keep you productive, tired, and reliant on the next paycheck. If you are currently caught in one of these traps, do not panic. Recognition is the first step toward escape. The solution is not just avoiding one mistake. It is understanding that every major financial decision is a domino. The house you buy determines the commute you have. The commute determines the car you need. The car determines the savings you lose. It is all connected. To build real wealth in your 30s and 40s, you must be intentional with every single link in that chain. As for those of you still watching, here's the most important truth of all. If you are starting late, the rules are different for you. You cannot afford to be normal. Normal in America is being broke at 65 and hoping Social Security covers the bills. If you want to escape that fate, you have to be willing to look weird. You have to be the person who drives the old car while making $200,000. You have to be the person who says no to the luxury vacation so you can say yes to early retirement. The loss of your right to be normal is the price of your right to be free. Remember that New Jersey family from the beginning of this video? They were not bad people. They were just people who followed the standard map and ended up in a financial wilderness. Do not let that be your story. Use the map we have discussed today to find a different path. If you have heard this message and you are ready to commit to the 1% path, I want you to comment the secret phrase, "I am awake," below. This is your signal to the community and to yourself that the illusions no longer work on you. Like this video to help us reach more people who are trapped on the treadmill. Share it with one person who needs to hear this truth today. Subscribe to join the builders and the visionaries. Do not go back to sleep. Click the next video on your screen right now to continue your education. The game is waiting for you to play it.